What's going on YouTube this week? I invited myself out to Cherry Bay Orchards to check out some of their apple picking process they have going on out here today. As if you've been following the channel, as you know, we're just getting started on our apple operation at Cherry Key. So I wanted to come out, check it out, see what kind of experienced pickers do and how we can implement some of what they do on our farm in the future. And so today I have my buddy John Herman here. He's worked at Cherry Bay for a long time, and he's going to run us through what goes on out here in the orchard.
Hey there, I'm John Herman. I've been at Cherry Bay since 2008, and my role here is Cherry Bay's production manager. We are out picking apples right now, and we are on day 4 of picking apples, and we have picked right around 600 boxes of apples so far. So we farm about 230 acres of apples, and probably about 50% of it is high density. The other half is processing. We've got a lot of different varieties of apples. We've got Honeycrisp, Sweet Tango, Gala, Fuji, and processing is Ida Reds, John Golds, Romes, and a slew of more. What we're doing here is we're picking Premier Honeycrisp. It's an early variety. It ripens about 3 weeks earlier than your regular Honeycrisp. And these guys will pick about 20 boxes a day. It's a crew of 7 pickers, and we have 8 crews. So that gives us 56 guys picking apples right now. So we use padded bags so that we don't bruise the apples. And you'll see that he's going to slowly lower it in and drag it across. For the Sweet Tangos and Honeycrisp, we need to clip the stems off. The stems are really hard, and they will puncture the apple sitting next to it in the box.
Yeah, boy. Behind me, as the boxes come out of the orchard here, they have a couple guys bring them out on the forklifts. They stack them up too high, and then they set them on this flatbed truck to take them to their cooling pad, where they eventually load them up on the semis. This is where they have their empty bins. So as they put them on, they start taking these boxes out to the farm. They're nested in groups of 3, which means there's 1 box on the bottom, 1 upside down on the top, and in the middle there's 1 that's vertical.
The Sweet Tangos and the Honeycrisp we pick by the hour. There's a lot more labor involved in it. There's a lot of sorting on the tree. We're looking for apples that have at least 50% color or more.
So I see here at the back you guys have a separate crate here. What is this for?
So if we see an apple put in the box that's got a finger bruise on it, a puncture wound, or a bitter pit, we will pull it out, put it in the crate, and we have a separate box that we have set aside for friends and family at our cooling pad so that they can come by and get some apples that we're picking.
So let's talk about the line spacing here for the rows. Why do we try and cram so many trees into one area? You see they have some posts here coming up, and they have wire that connects to the trees here with some rubber ties and some clips. Why do farmers do that?
Well, we're in Leelanau County, and there's getting to be less acreage available for farming. So if we have a block, we are going to try and fit as many trees on it as we can to make it more profitable. So our row spacing here is 12 foot wide between the trees and 3 feet in between trees down the row. And that gives us about right around 1,000 trees to the acre.
So what you're saying is that even though there's smaller trees in the rows compared to the older mature freestanding trees, you technically can get more fruit out of a high density orchard with skinnier, narrower trees compared to bigger trees that probably visually appear to have more fruit on them.
That is correct.
So as we're walking back across the field here, you can kind of see on some of these trees they're leaving some apples behind. And why would they go and leave apples behind if Honeycrisp is such a desirable apple to have? Why would you want to leave any money left on the tree?
Well, if you're at the grocery store and you see a red apple and a green apple, which one are you going to grab?
Probably the red one.
We're going to probably come back end of next week, and these will be nice and colored up and ready to be picked then. But they were shaded by the apples in front of them right now. So the reason why we pay guys by the hour is it helps them slow down, be a little more diligent on what they're taking off the tree. It leads to less bruising and better fruit in the box. When we go into some of our harder varieties that are harder to bruise, we pay them by the piece. And so they are getting paid per box.
So what varieties would you pay pickers by the hour?
We pay the pickers by the hour for Sweet Tango and the Honeycrisp. We're standing in a Gala block now, and these we're gonna pick by the piece. So each picker is gonna have their own box and pick by themselves. Each picker will average right around 8 to 12 boxes per day.
So as we walk down some of the rows here, you can see that a lot of the apples can be different sizes, different colors, and it all varies depending on variety. John, what are some of the things that you look for to know whether or not an apple's ready to be picked?
So we will go through the orchard and grab a random sample of apples, and we're going to be looking for a couple different things. We're going to be looking at the starch level, the bricks size, and how much color is on the apple. And so we use iodine solution to check for starch. That'll tell us the starch to sugar ratio. We're obviously looking for more sugar than starch. Bricks it kind of goes hand in hand with the starch index. Color, that's just a visual.
So what you're saying is there's multiple different metrics in which apple farmers can use in order to know when their crop is ready to be picked?
Yep, and there's a lot of resources out there that can help you choose when to pick the apples and when they're ready.
So like I mentioned in last week's video, I needed to come out to Cherry Bay Orchards here in Sutton's Bay to borrow their double row planter that we've been using to plant our rows of apples and our new high density apple orchard. So as you can see, we got the seat here, and we have two because like I said, it's a double row planter. So we'll get this hooked up to our red tractor, and then tomorrow we'll take it out to the Ferris farm and mark out the rows as we prepare to plant some apple trees. So now we're back on our farm with the double row planter here behind me. I just got started. You can probably see the two rows here behind me. We're not trying to go too deep. We're just trying to put a mark into the grass here. There, I've done a couple rows already, so you can see that. We're just trying to put some marks in the grass so we know where the rows are going to be. That way we can prepare these strips better. We'll kill the clumps of grass and the weeds, so it's nice flat dirt and perfect for planting. To show you guys how we use the GPS here to mark out the rows. So what I got to do here is get the tractor on the line, get it within the mark. We have our activation for the GPS. So I click that to turn it on. So it's currently engaged and the tractor will start driving itself. It'll get down to a 0-inch margin. And then as I drop the planter down, hit this button at the mark on the field, the planter goes down. And I can also start our distance trip. So what this is doing is it's going every 3 feet. You'll see it restarts. And this is the event counter here is how many times it triggers. So that's going to be how many trees actually get planted in this row from the far side of the orchard to where we just turned around behind us. So it'll give us a count on the distance and how many actual trees we will have space for in these rows. So after this whole process of prepping the field is done, we're gonna have about 6 weeks until we start to plant. So if you want to see that action of us planting, don't forget to subscribe down below so you can get the notification when that video goes live. And also a huge thanks to our friends at Cherry Bay, John and Jake, for letting me invite myself out to their apple orchard where they're picking Honeycrisp and Sweet Tangos this week. We got to see they have 56 guys out there picking apples. It's cool to see a bigger operation that's already established as we try and grow ours. So we'll look forward to that in the future. That's going to be it for this week, guys. Thanks for watching.